The impact of colonial rule on tribal lives. Under British rule, the tribals found their familiar ways of life to be disappearing, their livelihoods under threat, and their religion in danger. The British considered the forest land as belonging to none, so they declared them as state property. In the 18th century, the British considered forests as unproductive and wastelands. They brought many forest areas under cultivation of crops like indigo, opium, tea, coffee, and other commercial products. Later, they got timber from forests. The tall sal and other trees were felled down to provide sleepers for railways and other buildings. The clearing of forests had its major impact on people living in forests. They were displaced in large numbers. The British thought that those who lived in the forests were wild and savage, and they needed to be settled. Settled peasants were easier to control and administer. Adivasis faced certain prejudices and kept themselves socially distanced from majority of population groups. The Adivasis were unconsciously given the colonial label of primitive people. Their community-based economic system and customary rights over forest resources were not to the liking of colonial administration. The greatest injustice to the Adivasis was done in 1870s by the Criminal Tribes Act of 1871. About 160 Indian communities, mostly Adivasis, were classified as born criminals. They were considered as suspects of crimes and were also hauled up under the Habitual Offenders Act. In Punjab alone, 150,000 people were notified as criminal under the Act. Later on, the British banned the shifting cultivation. The Adivasis were prohibited from using forest products and fuel wood. As a result, the life and livelihoods of tribals were affected. Under British rule, the functions and powers of the tribal chiefs were reduced considerably.